We just broke a shocking story.
Blaming the New York Times for participating with Blake Lively's publicist.
Blake Lively essentially threatened, you could say, Justin Baldoni.
The judge in the It Ends With Us case just denied Blake Lively, and she scraped all posts, mentions, photos of Blake Lively.
Once known as Hollywood's golden girl, Blake Lively is now at the center of a scandal that's lighting up every tabloid in town. The red carpet darling and social media icon is reportedly trying to skid the country just as she's expected to appear in court. But what could make someone with a flawless public image suddenly vanish? According to insiders, this isn't your average celebrity hiccup. This is a full-blown disaster, and it's big enough that Blake's willing to risk it all. Buckle up, because this story is spiraling fast and the revelations are nuclear.
As to what's happening, as we go through, I want to check it while we're here, because it could be happening literally live. I want to see Blake Lively. Okay, so she's still following Blake. This is Colleen's account. Man City. Yeah, there it is. He's still there. She's following both Ryan and Blake. Is she following Justin? No. A lot of Justins, but no Justin Baldoni. Okay, so there you go. So she's still following. Now, when we go to Blake's account, here is a picture of her straightening the crown of Colleen. All the photos of Colleen are all there, as you can see, other images, etc. on her account. Real quick, I do want to, this term, oh, I got the best compliment of my life. Someone on social called me a crown straightener. A woman going around straightening all the women's crowns around her. I find that so actually who's to say they wanted their crown straightened? Who's to say they needed their crown straightened? Who's to say they didn't prefer their crown straightened? Why are you suddenly the judge and chooser of whose crown looks the straightest and best? This, again, is exactly what Blake Lively does. Takes control, makes you wear her ugly jeans, put on her weird patches and her stupid hair, all this stuff. She like requires you to dress like her, and like as if she knows better than anybody else. The entitlement of this woman is so off-putting. And of course, but anyway, I digress. Crown straightener, Blake Lively, is she following Colleen? Let's see. No, it's not following a single Colleen. Not a single one. Is she following Justin? No, not a surprise there. Is she following her husband? That would be a score. She is following her husband. Okay, there we go. We're checking it out. Let's check Ryan. Oh, sorry, Justin. Justin is following Blake still. That is interesting. I think he's probably doing that because he doesn't want to seem like he's being negative. At this point, it is what it is. He is not following Ryan. He's not following Ryan, but he is also not following Colleen. Now, I don't know when that stopped. Maybe after she supported Blake, but he did unfollow or seems not be following Colleen. And then just to round it all out, Ryan also not following Colleen. Now, to be fair, I don't know if he ever was. Is he following Justin? That'd be pretty telling. Is he following his wife? Yes. Okay, there you go. But the real takeaway here is that Colleen is back, unretired, and clearly removing things about Blake Lively, it seems. Why? Is she just trying to play out of it, get in the middle? I don't know, but it's pretty telling. You don't.
Tinseltown is in full panic mode, and Blake Lively is the eye of the storm. Just a week ago, she was the picture of poise, lighting up a charity gala in bejeweled couture and joking with Hollywood royalty. Today, nothing. No public appearances, no social media, no confirmation of her whereabouts. A list stylists are whispering to makeup artists about a sudden, total wipe of her calendar. No postponements, just cancellations. Insiders say designers are fuming, publicists are dodging phone calls, and reps are burning out from spin control. Witnesses at Lax say they spotted Blake in disguise, decked out in massive sunglasses and a hoodie from a gift shop, looking over her shoulder like she was on the run. Her luggage tags hinted at international travel, but no one can confirm a destination. Canada, the Caymans. Who knows? A close friend said Blake's been frantically calling her legal team late at night, and that she's more rattled than ever. And while she used to flood her Instagram with glam shots, funny reels, and cute family chaos, her feed's gone silent. No posts, no stories, no likes, dead quiet. Her reps only comment, private family matters. That's doing little to kill the whispers. Leaked documents from an LA courthouse show Blake's full legal name on a court summons. While sealed, sources say it's no minor case. This could be career-ending. Things got even more suspicious when a Gulfstream registered to her company filed a last-minute flight plan labeled TBD, a tactic used when passengers don't want anyone to track where they're headed. The jet left and came back empty. No manifest released. Theories are spiraling. Some say it's a breakup with Ryan Reynolds, though he's allegedly still in NYC filming. Others are pointing fingers at business scandals or a lawsuit involving former staffers who've accused her of labor law violations and secret surveillance. If that's what this is about, Blake disappearing could land her in even more hot water. Fans are stunned. How did someone who built an empire on being warm, funny, and relatable suddenly go radio silent the second things got rough? Was the whole image just too perfect to be real? With every quiet day, the questions multiply. One thing is clear: what happens next could change everything. Whether she resurfaces to face the court or pops up on some remote beach outside the reach of US law, the next headline is hers to own. Until then, the industry watches, waits, and refreshes its feed, hoping for answers or a glimpse of the golden girl gone ghost.
Might have just done herself in this battle with Justin Baldoni, although she didn't do it intentionally. It was something she said
long before she ever worked with Justin Baldoni.
right, but there's something she said that has now been resurfaced, and it is right on the nose as far as what the issues are in her battle with Justin Baldoni. Back in 2022, she was speaking at a Forbes
Power Women
Summit.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
no.
she talked about...
She flexed her muscles.
Oh, did she? She definitely did. Talked about being hired as an actor, but wanting more, and how she secretly tries to take more power, essentially.
Disarm people with her beauty and then laser in with her creative vision.
When I would show up on a set, I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say. But I also knew that that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative. Sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor. Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled. So I think that for them, sometimes that might have felt like a rug pull, because you're like, you're trying to assert yourself into something that we didn't hire you to do. And so it was a really strange position to be in.
Here's the thing, Blake, it is a rug pull. It actually is.
See, like, these celebrities, man, they do so many interviews. They do so many interviews that sometimes I think they forget what they have said. They have a whole team around them. They have a social media person. They got all these things, and it's like, I'm pretty sure, even though she said it came out of her mouth, she's probably yelling at somebody. How come you guys didn't tell me what I said? That's crazy. She's literally, wow.
A rug pull, that's exactly what it is.
But not in this case, because she was also hired as a producer. And in that 6-minute audio clip that Justin left her, he thanked her for her creative input and said that her notes actually made the music sing better. Her notes were great, and he wanted to share the revised script with her. So not in this case.
You're right. She was hired as one of the producers of this. So you're absolutely right that this one wasn't secret. But then the issue is, how much power did she try and exercise? Did she go beyond the normal kind of...
It seemed like that girl was getting kind of upset, right? I want to check the comments afterwards, but the girl is saying, like, not in this case, because she's like one of the main people, so she had control. Is that what she's trying to say? She sounds very, very...
Buckle up. because the courtroom chaos surrounding Blake Lively just exploded from whispers to sirens. What was supposed to be under wraps is now front page fuel. Those once sealed legal files have been cracked wide open, and the contents are hotter than any overpriced peppermint matcha she plugs on Instagram. And no, the accusers aren't jealous co-stars or angry EXCs, it's a full squad of former domestic staff. We're talking nannies, assistants, cooks, drivers, and maids, the people who kept her glamorous life running like clockwork. The legal filing reads like a twisted Gossip Girl reboot, except this time, Blake is cast as the icy villain. Let's start with the wage war. According to the complaint, staff were denied overtime pay, breaks were non-existent, and contracts were reportedly revised last minute with gag clauses meant to muzzle anyone daring enough to challenge 16-hour days. One nanny alleges she had to sample every dish before Blake touched a fork just to make sure it was fresh enough. Another employee says she was dragged out of bed at AM to reorganize a color-coded closet because a pair of heels was clashing with a dress. The lawsuit likens the household vibe to living with a panic alarm set on loop, and that's only the first page. Then there's the intimidation. Several former staffers say Blake would threaten to blacklist them if they spoke out. A former assistant claims she was told, "You go public, and I'll make sure you're unhireable in this town." Imagine a mob boss in high-end loungewear, armed with lip balm instead of brass knuckles. Still not shocked. Let's talk kale. According to a secret audio file included in the documents, Blake allegedly lost it over being served the wrong kind of organic greens. "Do you think Ryan married me to eat discount lettuce?" she's reported to have screamed. The plaintiffs say this clip is just one example in a long pattern of verbal abuse. But the real bombshell is chilling: hidden surveillance. The lawsuit claims Blake's mansion had secret cameras not just in hallways and common areas but allegedly in bathrooms and dressing rooms. If proven, those devices wouldn't just violate trust, they'd likely violate California criminal law. The atmosphere described is one of fear, paranoia, and pink slips. One maid says she was canned after taking a break during hour 14 of her shift. Another said she showed up sick and was told, "Your germs can't afford my legal team." The household, according to the lawsuit, was a roller coaster of extremes: fancy holiday gifts one day, screaming matches the next, lavish perks masked emotional exhaustion, and the staff were allegedly bound by NDAs tighter than red carpet gowns. But this isn't just about cash. The plaintiffs won their back pay, sure, but they're also demanding public accountability. They're asking for a formal apology, sensitivity training, and a larger discussion about how the rich and famous treat the people behind the curtain. For Blake, the consequences could be devastating. Forget money, this could shred her image, lead to criminal investigations, and even force her to testify under oath, all while the media zooms in on every tear, twitch, and side glance. And yes, there are rumors that she's considering pulling a disappearing act, but now that her passport is flagged and paps are tailing her latte runs, ghosting might be harder than climbing the Met Gala stairs in heels. It all comes down to this: either Blake faces the music or watches the brand she spent years building implode under the weight of court transcripts. Because while Hollywood adores a glossy comeback, it absolutely lives for a messy public downfall.
That was the conversation. It was about who had creative control of this movie. That was the debate. That was the battle between them when the movie came out.
That's right.
That everyone was reporting on. So the lawsuits came later, but what she says in this Forbes video is spot on about who was actually running the show.
One person's got to run it. I mean, you can't do this by committee. So who's running it? Is it the director?
But you have all these other EPs too that also were on Blake's side. There's a whole bunch of more people. It's not just her versus Justin. There was other people on the cast and crew that were also siding with her that were in higher positions than her, and they all wanted her side.
Well, you don't see anything on his side here? I mean,
positions than her.
He's the director.
In higher positions than her.
He's the director.
He was the director.
Well, then have a backbone and trust your movie, and don't be scared of these dragons. Trust in yourself. And
no. If you are saying you're up against Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, come on, Courtney. Come on. I mean,
I just like to end it when you said I was right. I was already done talking. I was happy with that.
Okay, hi, this is Adrienne from Washington, D.C., and I just wanted to say this is Blake Lively once again proving herself that she just can't help herself. Her and Ryan should definitely open like a directing studio because I feel like what a move would that be for the PR lately.
The old saying in Hollywood, right? Well, I'm doing this, but
I really want to be right. Okay, we're going to move on.
Yes, to Kanye West, who has been shut down. And apparently there is a line for some people and some corporations, and his sale of which pulled out of the Yeezy business. Shopify.
Okay, so it was on Shopify. Like, I'm surprised he don't have his own website or something. Remember I said, how is he even able to sell something like that? You know, or post it? Like, I don't know if people actually bought it. I don't know if it was up for that long. But I was like, how, like when you're creating a shirt, like, don't you have to go through certain steps before, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't it have to get approved? So I'm just saying, if somebody was actually able to buy that shirt, that means that they approved of it being there. And then the backlash came in and they're like, no, wait a minute. Let's take this down. That's crazy, man.
Normally handles all of their sales.
Took them a day.
Yeah, took them roughly a day, but they pulled the plug. And when you go to Yeezy, at least when we started the show, Yeezy.com was still defunct.
Can I tell you what kind of is upset? It just kind of bugs me. It's
we
like
just checked, it's still down.
It's still down, right?
Still down, yeah.
But it was up for a day. Kanye says, and I have no idea if it's true, that they sold 100,000 units.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
they make.
Oh my, that's what I was waiting for. So it took them a day, 24 hours, and you got to know, like when people, especially celebrities, when they drop something brand new, you know, a lot of people be waiting for it. So like that first day, those first 24 hours, it's going to go fast. I don't know if he pulled that number out as you know what, but saying 100,000 sold, like who is going to be bold enough to walk?
Grab your snacks and sit tight because Blake Lively isn't just dodging the spotlight. She's allegedly sketching out a getaway that makes Houdini look basic. Word in Tinseltown is that America's favorite fashion icon might be about to pull the boldest vanishing act Hollywood's seen in years. The whispers have turned into roars, and insiders insist Blake's escape plan is ripped straight from a globe-hopping thriller script. Once just a bubbly teen from a sleepy California zip code, Blake is now facing a legal storm brewing hot enough to fry an Oscar statue. She's not waiting around for a courtroom showdown. Sources say she's already eyeing countries where extradition laws are, let's say, more relaxed. Step 1. The Canadian distraction. Sources claim she was recently seen perusing pamphlets at the consulate-in-law, casually admiring tourist brochures like she wasn't planning a tactical retreat. Canada would make sense, kind people, cozy weather, and all the maple syrup she can pour. But let's be honest, US authorities wouldn't have to try very hard to find her there. That's why the Maple Leaf stop might just be a smokescreen. Behind the scenes, Blake's reportedly tapping into international networks, not for jet-setting brunch dates, but the kind of underground experts who help celebrities fade into myths. Think encrypted calls, third-party jet rentals, and escape. Blueprints that don't come with a return flight. And let's talk jets. A sleek, unmarked Gulfstream has been idling on a private runway outside Los Angeles. Flight plans are locked down, but rumors suggest it's on hold for one very high-profile passenger. Who else in Hollywood needs a hush-hush takeoff this week? You do the math. Meanwhile, her passport vanished. Last seen in a biometric safe at her gated estate, and now supposedly missing without a trace. Could it already be halfway across the world? Or is it stashed in an embassy pouch waiting for a VIP approval stamp? And Ryan Reynolds, the king of cheeky Instagram captions, has gone radio silent. No tweets, no red carpet appearances, not even a grocery store selfie. Is he helping her plan the grand exit or left scratching his head with the rest of us? Either way, their home has reportedly gone eerily quiet. No kids' laughter, no delivery runs, No late-night sushi pickups. Then comes the island twist. One insider claims Blake's true destination isn't a city at all, but a speck on the map so remote it doesn't even show up on GPS. No extradition agreements, no cell towers, no TMZ drones, just crystal clear water, hammocks under the palms, and total anonymity. That kind of disappearance wouldn't come cheap. But walking away from multi-million-dollar contracts and a carefully crafted public image, that's a whole different price tag. Still, to someone dodging headlines and subpoenas, a thatch hut might sound like paradise. Meanwhile, the countdown continues. Her court date is creeping closer. The jet is fueled, and fans are refreshing timelines waiting to see if Blake shows up in court or drops a cryptic selfie from a beach no one can pronounce. Either way, this saga isn't done yet. So keep that popcorn close because the next twist is coming faster than a TMZ headline.
Now, from Blake's perspective, I can understand it. The more we're seeing, and last night as we watched that full Forbes interview, learning more about Blake, her mother, the way she is, the entitlement and selfishness and demands she needs to have in order to have authority. It doesn't surprise me that she has spun this narrative in her favor. But Ryan, could he be someone who's actually, a pawn in this and not really realizing the extent of it? I want to play this clip from the Dumas podcast with Dana Bowling, who was on the show. Listen to this.
Just had a baby too, and can't even tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's okay. I identify as a feminist.
Deadpool 3 wrapped on January 24th, 2024. That film wrapped before It Ends With Us even concluded filming. Meaning, they filmed all of those nice pool scenes way early on. So they have been hating Baldoni for so long.
Now that's important to recall. She's right, because the wrapping was there. Basically, the beginning of It Ends With Us would have happened during Nice Pool before. And then so basically prepping with Justin, those first, 7 days, it wasn't that long, of shooting happened. And then while they're shooting Deadpool, he added in those bits to sort of make fun of Justin. So yeah, the hate for Justin was very evident from the beginning.
People were picking apart the text messages, like she's flirting with him, like look what she's saying to him. But was she just being passive aggressive? Because behind the scenes, Ryan was writing these lines for Deadpool. Does she have a smoking gun that we just haven't seen yet?
This is what I hear is coming down. She's coming out with an amended complaint on Friday. The only reason I think that they don't
that got delayed.
Have this big smoking gun is because why wouldn't they present that day one?
That's what because I paused. She's making a good point. Why wouldn't they have had that since day one? Agreed. That's what we all have said. Why wouldn't you put it all out? You put everything else in there. You picked and chose your text. You did all this stuff. Why would you hold on to more is the question. Now, some would say, well, because you want Justin to play all his cards and then have one more ace up your sleeve. Do they have an ace up their sleeve?
So I spoke to my friend who's at William Morris yesterday, and they said the one thing that makes them think that there's something more is they were speaking to someone who's in Ryan's camp. And they said the one thing they know about Ryan is that he's not an idiot, and he is not dumb enough to go this far without having an end game here.
Now, again, doesn't admit to having that smoking gun, but the question does remain. He does seem like a smart guy. I'm not going to lie. He does seem like a smart guy. That's why this all has been so weird and frustrating. He does seem like a nice guy to a lot of people. Sure, he's clearly got this darker side where he wants to have control of his projects. But in a weird way, with Deadpool, the way he took over Deadpool, I kind of understand where he went. And it seems like he did make amends with Tim Miller, from what I've gathered. So I'm not on the hate Ryan Reynolds train like everybody else, because he may be fed something else. He may, when he took over Deadpool, that really was his character, his voice. Like, he has to own that. Now, I think he could have treated Tim Miller better, of course. I think Tim Miller would admit that as well. But from what I've gathered, Tim Miller is apparently good with all of it. Tim Miller doesn't want to be involved in any of this nonsense. And Tim Miller's not jumping up and down, jumping on saying, yes, let's torch Ryan Reynolds. Look what he did to me. So I'm not as mad at him. I know everybody else is, and you guys can be, but I'm still hung up on this idea of, like, why is he buying this? Why is he allowed to go? Now, she's the mother of his children. So yeah, that's a fair reason. He's in love with her. They've been together for quite some time. They are seemingly committed to their things. They talk all the time, yada, yada, yada. He is a loyal guy, apparently, unless you're shooting Green Lantern and you're with Scarlett Johansson. But aside from all that, the rumors even there were that she didn't want to have kids, and he did. And so, look, is Ryan Reynolds really that stupid? This is the question I'm asking you. Hate whoever you want. I don't think we should hate anybody. We should all be nicer to each other. But do you really think Ryan Reynolds is that stupid to keep this going and have supported this as long as he has without some sort of smoking gun? Are you, at any of you, humoring or accepting the fact that maybe there is? Because if there isn't, it's like, wow. That's all I can say. Do you think there is a smoking gun that's going to come in this amended complaint? Do you think there's more they're going to finally drop to try to really take advantage of this narrative? Because this is their shot. This narrative that they need more time on, that they're clearly digging around for stuff. This is their moment to fight back and say, you all doubted us? Well, look at this. Bam. And I expect they are going to put a lot of more texts and things that they've tried to muster.
As Blake Lively's carefully curated Hollywood image begins to crumble, the fantasy she built is unraveling at lightning speed. Shocking allegations from ex-staffers have cracked the facade of her golden reputation, leaving fans wondering what's real beneath the glossy Instagram life. But here's the kicker: while Blake is reportedly trying to slip out of the country, her empire is collapsing quicker than she can zip up her Louis Vuitton suitcase. Will she face the music in court, or vanish without a trace like a disappearing act gone rogue? One thing is clear: this scandal has staying power. Every step she takes now could shape the rest of her career. Can she pull off the impossible, rebuild her image, and stage a triumphant return, or are we witnessing the end of an era for Hollywood's former sweetheart? Keep watching, because in Tinseltown, the chaos is constant and the spotlight never blinks.